cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host Slash, Freddie G, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. You can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. What's up, fellas? Welcome to another True Tuesday episode. Man, today, man, I got my story of the show is about two remarkable young ladies I feel that are above their peers just alone on the way they're changing how we live in America. One of them, the first 12-year-old Eniola Shokumbi. This young lady, man, invented an air filter. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this, but this happened during the pandemic, you know, when the world kind of shut down and kids were not able to go to school and things of that nature. She, the class was given an assignment to a project to come up with a solution to address, you know, future issues like the pandemic and things of that nature. So she was inspired and created an air filter system that basically removed cold and COVID viruses, you know, from classrooms. And, you know, she turned the idea into a reality. You know, so this young lady, the class, not just her, but in doing the project, they collaborated with scientists from the University of Connecticut with their creative inventions. Now, this young lady, like I said, when I actually saw her story on Good Morning America, but I had heard about it prior to seeing her on Good Morning America. And just to hear her talk about her project and how she came up with the idea, you know, for one, she spoke very well, you know, not like your average 12-year-old. So I was impressed just by hearing her speak, you know, hell, because me, myself, and I, you know, just listening how we sometimes do our shows, you know, I'm nervous. Right. And I don't have anybody in front of me, but this young lady is on TV in front of, you know, millions of Americans, and she's speaking clear English and explaining herself very clearly to where, you know, you can definitely understand what she's talking about. So I was improved with just the maturity that she displayed, being, you know, again, a 12-year-old. Right. Mm-hmm. So the cost of making this filter was under $60. She used a furnace filter, a box fan, duct tape, and a cardboard. Now, my issue, bro, it's not actually an issue. It's just, you know, why the fuck I don't be thinking of simple things like this here, man. And this 12-year-old has already outshined me in my 53 years of living.
I know, right? These kids, man, they are able to come up with stuff. You know how they always say, you know, kids' brains are a sponge at a certain age. And it's probably because she probably was just soaking up a lot of education and just kind of like, you know what, COVID, let's see if we can make something because we're in class every day. She probably had a thinking cap on.
Now, what I want to ask K Money is this a African American girl?
She is an African American.
Yes. So that's what brings me to this. You know, a lot of different inventions that we have and use right now today were created by a lot of black people.
Facts.
So I think
a lot of important inventions that we use, like you said,
daily. Yeah, we
daily.
have to have. You know, so I think she's just following a great trend of being a inventor, which is what she'll go down in history as, even at 12 years old.
Exactly.
This starts her. So we don't know in the next 20 years what she's going to invent.
Might come up with.
But I think she's somebody to be under watch, you know, to find out the stuff that she's doing, because she's probably going to be an important part of America in the next few years.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be hearing much about Eniola, and I apologize if I'm butchering your name. But I can imagine, man. I'm sorry. Were you about to say something, Comedian 96?
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine. Yeah, you're gonna hear something later. You know how many colleges want to throw her. They're gonna probably throw her $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna throw her all kinds of grant scholarships because they're gonna get the recognition if she goes to end up going to that university.
Hopefully, she holds on to her not copyrights but trademarks and patents. Hopefully, she understands that part of the game because that's what's gonna get her paid.
Well, she's the air filter removes 99% of virus particles. So with that, the government has already or just approved 11.5 million statewide schools. They approved for $11.5 million for statewide schools to install this filtration system.
So they're going to manufacture her idea.
Yeah.
Even if she gets 10%, she good.
Yeah, so she did very well with this invention, man. Did. I can imagine, have my kids come in the garage with this type of shit. I'm thinking it's trash. There's no way I would have thought that they were being creative and trying to invent some shit like this here. You know what I'm saying? So hats off to again. This is Eniola Shokunbi, and this is a middle school.
Now I wonder if she's does she have any kind of foreign descent in her or?
Well, just on the name alone, man, I'm gonna have to say she's African or something Kenya, on those lines. And they're normally they're already bright when coming to America. Because I can remember, I think in my graduating class, our valedictorian was African, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry. Class of '89's valedictorian was African.
You mean what was her name? She went to NASA. She not went to NASA, but she
for '89.
'89, yeah. That was
you thinking about Stacy?
No, her name. I want to say Shonda. She was Charlotte's good friend. Shonda.
I don't want to.
She ran track.
I don't want to drop too many names, but the valedictorian
for '89
for '89 was
Shonda, the girl.
No, I don't want to drop no names, but her name wasn't Shonda. She dated another smart dude. They graduated 1 and 2, and she was pregnant.
Right, she had 2 kids. She had 2 kids.
I remember.
I don't remember her name.
I don't think she was. I don't think she was.
Or I had an African name.
I don't think. No.
She had an easy name.
Oh, okay, my mistake. But I just know, when we were at school, majority of the Africans that did attend JY were fairly smart. I'm sorry, Comedian 96.
Nothing
go
in
ahead.
that case. Hey, go ahead. We'll talk after the show.
I can't think of her name. Now I'm trying to.
It was a big
deal because she was pregnant. It was a big deal.
Yeah, I need my butt whooped because I should know her name. That's crazy.
Oh, you dated her?
I just know I should know her name. I ain't saying name. Just
I'm help us understand.
Okay. She was a good friend of a girl that I wanted to talk to. It was her friend, and I know her because she also ran track. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same girl we're talking about.
Now again, I was speaking of the valedictorian for class 89.
Right,
yeah.
She ran track as well. She graduated the year before us. We graduated in '90.
I forgot the girl name, but I do remember.
I don't
recall her running track.
I was just amazed because she had 2 kids and was still able to, graduate number 1 in her class. The second brilliant mind that I wanted to talk about, man, was another 12-year-old, and she invented a new smoke detector that sends alerts to your phone.
Wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, these kids nowadays, the technology that they have available to them, it's not really surprising that they're coming up with these brilliant ideas and life-changing inventions. But they're definitely taking advantage and making the best of the opportunities and the resources that they have. This young lady, her name was, I'm about to butcher another name. Forgive me. Her name is Shania Gill. Oh, that one's a lot easier than the other one. But again, she invented a smoke detector that sends an alert to your cell phone. She invented this during when competition. It was some type of competition, and she got top prize, which was $25,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good to see that these middle schoolers are expanding their brains and using them to like I say, invent things that definitely will impact how we live and move forward in America, and not just America, but these are inventions that can be utilized in other countries as well. So, like we mentioned with the first young lady, that air filter, we can imagine, with the pandemic, how it shut down the world several years ago, how this can definitely be used for good all around the world. And with the 11.5 million that grant, or not grant, but the 11.5 million that the government has approved for her, it just shows that, the government is looking and listening to our youth. A lot of people out here there's a lot of people that don't even vote because they feel that their vote doesn't matter. But this kind of shows that, our input does count. It's not going for nothing. So if there are any youngsters out there that's listening, or if any parents out there that have youngsters that are trying to be creative, allow them that opportunity to expand and just experiment. As long as they're not making a mess, and tearing up shit, let them be creative, because that's how they can find themselves. You never know what they could be good in if it's not sports that they're out there participating in, and you have a child that's just in the class or in their room, staying to themselves. You definitely want to monitor them and make sure that there are no red flags to where they're doing or thinking about doing anything negative. But if you can see something bright that they possibly could be working on or dealing with while they're just to themselves, allow them that time. How do you fellas feel about these young 12-year-olds with the brilliant minds that are changing America?
Man, I think it's a lot of them out there that probably don't even know what they're capable of at this point. But you're right. The government is watching the younger generation, because most of the newer products that they're coming up with are basically going to be for them. It's going to be them in the next 10, 20 years.
There you go.
Products
leading our country. Leading our country.
So, they paying attention. And I think this is a good topic because we really need to start honing in on those youngsters who do have these abilities to create stuff. But, and not to cut you off, but I hope that the government, if the government is smart and they find these people, that they don't give them the wrong idea to create the wrong types of products, because I think that can be a factor with these young kids and generations, because they can offer, hey, this much money, but we need you to come up with this, or we need you to come up with this, and them not knowing that the stuff that they're inventing can possibly harm people.
Right, right.
I think it's important that, if we can find these people and kind of educate them on what they need to know in order to be successful and great at the same time.
Exactly.
These are the kids that were they were born like when computers first came out, so they grew up in the computer age, and they're actually more advanced than a lot of us when dealing with computers. So they're definitely taking advantage of the resources, like I mentioned earlier, and they're a lot smarter than a lot of their parents, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
They are.
I think that if you got kids like that that's sharp and smart like that, a lot of that they need the encouragement starts at home.
Right. Because
think about it, man. How far a kid could really go if their parents are involved and encouraging them.
Yeah.
I think damn near every kid, unless you excuse my, I don't know if mentally retarded is acceptable, but if you haven't been declared mentally retarded, I think that every kid has the ability to learn, and I think that every kid has something within them, and it all starts at home.
I agree.
When you get the encouragement from your parents, and not only the encouragement, but the parents being involved.
Right.
And what's going on with the kids, I think that's what helps a kid excel. And it
Exactly.
starts when they're young.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they're like young. Because when you're young, you're most impressionable.
Yep.
When you're young.
Even when you think about something that you may have did as a kid, and I'm gonna take it back to Little League football.
Yeah.
If you played Little League football, you were better at that sport when you had family support. Somebody that would, let's just say, for instance, your mom or dad took you to the games. Your mom or dad shouted for you. Your mom or dad made sure you had everything you needed. That's support within itself. But the child have to also know and have the slightest bit of common sense to understand that these people are behind you, and whatever you want to do, we got your back. And they have to have the mind frame to say, you know what, my mom and dad behind me, I like what I'm doing. Like you say, Freddie G, the encouragement from the parents is a big deal with these children that are educated like they are. Because, man, when you think about it, I wouldn't have thought about using this filter, a fan, or nothing
fan, you
for
ain't
what
lying.
the girl did.
I'm gonna be in that fan. You know, in the fan. That's what I'm gonna do. In the
I'm
fan.
not gonna lie,
As
man.
a kid, that's what how you put your going now.
That's what you did with the
We
fan.
all did that.
That bullshit.
You ain't get in front of the fan while it's spinning.
I got behind it
oh,
and spoke behind it.
so that's why I was getting sick. Never mind.
You was sticking your tongue in the fan, wasn't you?
No, that's dirt in there. All that dirt is in there. Hell no. But for real, on a serious note, I can't believe I'm about to sound like Freddie G on this one.
No, you don't.
No. Hear me out. Hear me out. Another thing that we did not have, and this is what we're missing: the platforms. When we were younger, we did not have these platforms.
Well, life was different.
Yeah,
then.
it was totally different when we were
but-
kids.
and that's what I'm finna get at. Let's use Mark Zuckerberg for example. He was young at one time. He was the one that created Facebook.
He was young when he created it.
Yes. So, but he wasn't a kid like
He
the
was a
other.
teenager, though.
Yeah. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make, Mark just came out with I don't know if y'all know the new Orion AR glasses, the Quest 35 headsets, and the Ray-Ban smart glasses. Right. Just came out and had a big thing on, I think it was CNN, one of them channels, and these glasses they hologram. They do holograms.
So what you saying
So-
is I can link it to my phone and read my messages in my glasses rather than looking at my phone.
Exactly. And you could talk to your people, video chat in your glasses.
So what do they see? Your eyes, or do they see your face?
I have no clue.
I mean, you got glasses on.
Yeah,
Where's the
I had
camera?
no clue. But the point I'm trying to make is, had someone like right now with all the platforms, the IGs, the Facebooks, and everywhere they can go, it's easier for people to see inventions being made. Think about all the people that were very, very smart, like
Right.
we were talking about
Right.
our valedictorian. She probably had, I think she ended up working at NASA. She probably had great inventions.
You mean our class or the class
before us. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she went to work for NASA. Think about the people that were very smart, but we did not have these platforms so people can see. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
No, I get it.
What happened is they probably go work for I hate to say it, Tesla or Ford, and they're behind the scenes. But these are people that graduated with us or were our age, but they're the ones making these inventions because we didn't have that platform.
Well-
They're just getting paid for their inventions through someone else.
In my opinion, I mean, like I said, the resources and the platforms, like you mentioned, Comedian 96, are available now. But back in our day when we were younger, like Freddie G mentioned, I think he used the perfect word, but, the encouragement that we received from our parents, because how many times, and I can imagine your parents probably stopped you from doing a lot of shit.
Yeah, I'll be trying to burn a fire. I always trying to invent stuff with fire. Fire had to be involved.
Okay,
Some kind of way.
I'm not sure what you was possibly
What
doing.
were you inventing, bro?
He was a pyromaniac.
Fire. I was inventing fire. Fire.
You was destructive.
That's what that was.
I was
But
not
back in our day, what I was trying to get at basically was, our parents, I think, stopped us from being creative, not knowing that we were being creative. They just thought like I mentioned, we were making a mess or just, fucking up some shit. So
And I think at that time, man, I don't want to say, and I agree with you, but I think it's more or less that there was a certain form of government that was being followed back in those days, to where you doing something that nobody else is doing is really unheard of. You know what I mean? Because a lot of parents probably had special children that could create these things, but for one, they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know how to tell them what to do or how to get this invention started. I mean, a lot of the stuff, the information that we have access to now, there was no access to that through people besides having to know somebody or going to the library. Wasn't no Google.
Yeah.
we had the encyclopedias, though.
But here goes something you got to think about. Sometimes parents can stunt the growth of a child because the parent themselves can't see
Right.
that far in advance.
That picture doesn't show
like
up.
right now,
Yeah.
we all have children, right?
Right.
And if our children say, "Hey, I want to," if your child come to you and say, "Hey, I want to invent something you stick in the socket, and when you stick it in the socket, all the lights in the house turn green." For us, we probably can't see okay, that happening. However, we can see that, you know what? We can think for, hey, that's actually possible. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I believe that that's possible because of all of the other inventions, all of the other things that come
Right.
about. So when we were younger, when we were kids, there's certain things that hadn't come about.
Right.
And you be like, and if you were doing something, to your point, K Money, your parents couldn't see like, hey, you just being destructive, or
Right,
you're
right.
doing this, or and they couldn't see that far. They
Right.
can't see.
That's right.
If that that
Right.
even makes
now
sense.
it makes sense because now they can't support you if they can't see it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has to
They got to
the
be able to.
vision.
They have to be able
Yeah.
to see it too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
So let me ask you guys, if you saw your kids with a box fan, duct tape, and I want to say I saw it with some dryer sheets, and basically this was like a box or a square filter where the air goes in, and it goes in on the sides and it comes out the top clean. So if you saw your kids at around the age between 10 and 12, with these materials in your garage or wherever, what would be your first thought? Had we not been talking about this air filter, I'm guaranteed,
They gonna
like
go-
Freddie G said, that wouldn't have been on our mind thinking, okay, this is what they're working towards. So
They finna go kidnap a hood cat,
No,
tied up.
I finna tell you the natural black parents thought. Name what she had, K Money.
she had duct tape, a box fan.
Somebody getting kidnapped.
I said something in regards to
You
a
said
furnace.
dryer. You said
And
dryer.
I
sheet.
want to say when I saw the story on GMA, Good Morning America, that she also had dryer sheets.
Okay, now you say duct tape. Number one, let's assume that the father is in the house. Number one, a black person. Don't be wasting all my damn duct tape.
Yeah.
What you doing?
And not
Number
just
two,
that.
if mama's in the house,
Dry
what you
sheets.
doing messing with these dry sheets? Put my damn dry sheets back.
I need my damn fan.
And number three, the damn fan. Look,
What-
this ain't no damn play toy. This is to cool
Right.
us out. What are you doing? Now, the encouragement part of it is, I'm assuming that the child will be like, "Ooh, mom, ooh, dad, look what I made, and this is what it do."
They would have to.
If they did that, if they came to mom and dad and say, "This is what I made, and this is what it do, and I'm gonna make it do this," and then mom and dad take a look at it and see, well, I be damn, it is doing that.
Right.
Now, it's on mom and dad
Okay, I'm glad
To-
you mentioned
to
and gave
get-
an example.
to get behind it and be like, you know what, my child got something.
Right.
Because the child probably don't know all of the resources and channels
Right.
that he or she needs
Need.
to do
Right.
to get some money out of this, to
Right.
make this thing pop.
That's where the
But
parent
mom and
comes
dad
in.
has
Yeah.
to be able to see that vision.
and know what
And if
resources
they can
to
see
go
that
and use.
vision and be like, okay, we
Yeah.
need to do something with this.
That's right.
So that's where the support of mom and dad and being able to see far, like, hey, we could do something with this.
Like I said, I'm glad you mentioned and gave an example on both. And I totally agree with the first example on how most black parents will respond and react. But even still, I can't see them saying, even after being told, this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what it's going to do once I finish. A lot of us, we were old school, and we were raised a certain way, and I feel, a lot of us didn't listen to our kids or chose not to listen to our kids when they were trying to be creative, me being one of them. So I still don't know if I would have been able to encourage them if I saw them wasting duct tape or wasting dryer sheets, knowing that times are hard. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I do agree with you, Freddie G, that encouraging our kids at a young age definitely can open up and give them the confidence to try to experiment on things that they may feel are a waste of time, or others may feel are a waste of time. So again, parents, if you have any kids out there, let them be creative and just be themselves, because nowadays I ain't gonna say we're losing our kids to computers or social media, but kids, in my opinion, are not just being kids anymore as far as going outside and just letting off the energy that kids normally would let off, but I appreciate y'all joining us, man. Y'all come back next week and make sure y'all hit that like button. Peace out. This concludes another True Tuesday episode, and be sure you tune in tomorrow for another episode of Women Wednesday with Freddie G. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. And to all my 52 Scott faithfuls, it may be new to you, but if you heard it here, then you know it's true.